Ladies and gentlemen, as always, good evening and welcome to your Top 5 VGM podcast. That's us here at Cast Revive. I am your host, Steve Monselsi, with my co-host, Matt Heimrel.
I really thought you were going to start, let's get ready to rumble.
Oh, no, something as classy as SimCity opening up our show today. Come on, we gotta step our game up a little bit.
No, I like it. So, this episode
is all about town/hub music that was requested by whom?
It was requested by our man who is currently our new intern of audio and engineering, Mr. Brian Huskey.
Woo!
All right.
Clap.
So, yeah, this episode is going to be really cool because it was town, hub themes. But
there was a catch.
There was. Non-RPG. Non-RPG. And that is difficult because when I think of towns, I think of RPGs. Straight out the gate.
Many brain cells died that day.
Yes, they did. Mainly because, when you think of, what's the first thing you think of? When you think of a town, what's the first thing that pops in your head?
Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Do you have any specific town that would pop in? For me, it's Fisherman's Horizon. That's when I think of a town, that's the first thing that pops in. So obviously number one was that.
Well, Final Fantasy was just kind of like a go-to because that's pretty much what everybody thinks of.
Right.
But, actually, when it comes to towns music, Legend of Zelda 2, that do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
Didn't we do something in our podcast last week that went back to Zelda 2 music?
Dude, our tangents in every episode take us back to everything.
To Zelda 2.
Yeah, so these guys are doing a Mario episode, so let's talk about Castlevania.
Zelda 2.
That makes sense. So as we said, this criteria for it made it a lot more difficult, but I enjoy that because it made us really think outside the box of what is considered town music and a hub theme, which would be you can get to like a map where you can get to any location in the game without serving any other purpose. So
I thought it was hilarious too when we actually discussed this before coming on the show, and it's oh, we could do this. Oh, it's an RPG. Oh, well, we could do this. Oh, that's also an RPG. Okay, so we have to really rethink all of this.
No, it's because I wanted to do Zelda 2. I was oh no, action RPG can't. Facts now.
That's not a joke, folks.
I was
actually want to do it.
Yeah, I was I can't do that when you do action RPG. I was is every game that I've played, has that been an action RPG? I was but then once you threw an idea at me what you're gonna do, I was okay, I'm getting the concept. And then it really started to flow together. So
which is
really
a shame, too, that I think it should have been defined. Is it true RPGs or did action? Because there's so many action RPGs that are just absolutely amazing and amazing music.
Yeah.
First one that comes to the top of my head, Popful Mail for the Sega CD, amazing. Working Arts.
You don't own that though.
Oh, absolutely.
You do? I thought that was one you didn't own.
Yep, no, I own that in case.
Silly me.
It's actually one of my rare Sega CD cases that actually are in perfect condition.
Really?
Because those cases were, let's face it, they were garbage, and they just fell apart with just looking at them funny. So
at this point, just shrink wrap it and keep it for later.
Absolutely,
Don't even
out
open
of the
it.
sun. Just. All right.
But
so what we're actually gonna do. Did you have something to say?
No. I was just gonna continue no.
But
okay. If you want to start the show, that's fine.
We are going to start the show. We're actually going to start the show with Matt with your top 5, your number 5, this week, and kind of throw things around a little bit.
I love it. Here we go. Any idea what this is?
Not off the top of my head, but if I was to throw money at it, it would be Shining Force.
That's incorrect. This is Shining Force. This is Quackshot.
Quackshot
for the Sega Genesis. One of my favorite games of all time.
This game is actually very
game
good.
It's just awesome. And me being a huge fan of Ducktales and everything like that, it was great. It was great to see. And obviously Donald Duck is my favorite because he is basically molded after my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's angry. Well, he can barely speak.
In all fairness, between Quackshots and Castle of Illusion, this was the only reasons that non-sports people bought a Sega.
Yeah.
I mean, these games were insanely popular. Side scroller, very much like Ducktales, with a little, deeper complication to the actual gameplay, but it didn't take away from it. I mean, you had different weapons and things like that Donald could pick up. Was it like a plunger and like popcorn and
yeah,
other
plunger,
kinds of things?
popcorn. There was a bubble gun. There was a yellow plunger, and then there was a red plunger that actually stuck to the wall that you could jump to get to other areas.
Get high areas, yeah.
So it wasn't just you beat a level and moved on. You got an item, and you went back to that previous level to access areas that you couldn't the first time around. So it was really cool. It added a nice feel, exploration feel to a side scroller, and it was just cool. I mean, you're searching for treasure because you flip through one of Scrooge McDuck's books, and like a treasure map falls out. So he's like, "Oh, I want to go find all this treasure."
Because that would have went unnoticed by Scrooge.
Exactly.
Right.
And
that could have been DuckTales
alarms
3.
would have been going off. His legs would have been broken 5 minutes after leaving the room. Come on, let's be real here.
Huey, Dewey, Louie, all silenced.
Yeah. But they do help, though, because they're in the airplane that who's the pilot from DuckTales?
Launchpad. Quack.
Yeah, he's the one who flies you around. So you see their little heads in the window, just like, I'm assuming they're tied up in there because they never move their faces from there. They're just like planted right in the window. I was waiting for like a help us bubble to pop out of there if they've been captured.
It's funny about Disney. Before up until Tailspin, I think Launchpad was the go-to pilot. Because he was the pilot in DuckTales, Quackshots. He was also in Darkwing Duck. He was also the pilot and is like co-conspirator, I guess you can say. Crime fighter.
And then he flew over the Bermuda Triangle, and he was never seen again.
Dun, dun, dun. Then Tailspin happened.
Tailspin.
And now Baloo is a Tailspin, a woo-woo. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So, did you have any other closing information about Quackshot and the greatness that is Quackshot?
No, other than the fact that I'm starting to speedrun this game, so I'm very excited.
Really?
Yep, I'm very excited. I want to get into AGDQ for next year, and this is one of my entries. Between this and Russian Attack for the NES are my two games I'm practicing. So
I heard you on All Things Geek there talking about Russian Attack.
Oh yeah.
Very, very impressed that you took that game. Why did you choose that game?
Well, this is my first attempt at like really getting into speedrunning, and it's a fairly simple side scroller. There's not like a lot. There's like no real glitches. It's just like proper execution, memorizing where the enemies are coming from. So that's why I picked it.
I think you should speedrun Mylan's Secret Castle. Then come talk to me.
Maybe I will.
That would impress me.
I should impress you just by the way I look.
So my number 5, we're gonna go ahead and my number 5, and it was actually really hard putting all these in order in the order that we did, but this is my first idea that came to mind for town hubs that are non-RPG. So here we go.
I'll let you know if I like it.
All right. All right, Matt, you want to give this one a guess?
I'm going to say this game is Toys for the Sega Genesis.
Wow.
After the movie.
Where did you pull that out of?
Well, you gave me an extremely random game on mine, so I decided to throw it right back at you.
You are incorrect, sir. I don't want people to think this is Toys. This is actually Crash Bandicoot 2. The hub room in the area where it allows you to select what stages you'd like to go to.
Crash Bandicoot's fun. My wife loves that series. And I own, I think, all but one game in the series.
Wow, very good. There's actually quite a few.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
A lot of them are like very, dare I say, like underground, kind of like Crash Bandicoot, which, by the way, was recently officially dropped as Sony's mascot. But,
really?
Yeah, officially done. But I mean, there were so many. Like there was 1, 2, 3 that was really popular. Then there was the Crash Team Racing, the kart racing.
Yes.
There was a party game, that Crash Bash, which was awful, but it was there. And then there was like 2 other ones that came out for like the later systems. but then you didn't hear anything about it. However, there was like 6 games released.
Yeah.
And nobody knew about it, and it was just kind of an underground thing.
Yeah, I'm looking at him. There were a lot, man. The Crash had spin-offs and everything. I mean, it was a rather large series. Even mobile games, Nitro Kart 3D, Crash Bandicoot Mutant Island. I mean, games all the way up to 2010 coming out.
Right.
I mean, that's not.
When's the last time you played one, or saw one, or bought one?
Yeah. It's been
2001, 2002.
Yeah, it's been a while. But a great fun series, slapstick style. I mean, it's a great little. Which is surprising that they took out the mascot, because I thought it was a fun game and a fun image.
But the thing is like it was the same old.
Yeah,
it didn't really kind of. What's the word? Conform, I guess is the word I could use. Like Mario and Sonic did. Even though they had all these different things that they tried to put them in. I mean, it kind of helps that Nintendo kind of not necessarily bought Sega, but Sega started producing stuff for Nintendo.
Right.
That's why they have like the Mario Sonic Olympics and things like that. You never saw anybody else play ball like that. So it was very easily to get lost in the shuffle. But Crash Bandicoot 2. A little personal story is that this is the first Crash Bandicoot that I've actually finished at 100%.
Nice.
And for those who have played this game, you'll understand this. And those who haven't, there's actually, you can go through the game and you can get a percentage. But there's actually these crystals. There's like 5 main stages that are separated into mini stages. And on one of those mini stages, there's a crystal, kind of very similar to the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
That when you got all 5 or 6 of them, like this special thing happened at the end, but you had to collect them all, and they were like really insane, crazy, like Mario 3 Warp Whistle. Try to accidentally find crazy insane,
really,
to come across these crystals. Yeah, thank God they had internet back when that came, because they forget it
would have driven me nuts. Yes, and as the completionist in you, I'm sure was eating a small part of it.
Yeah. I've actually never finished the original Crash Bandicoot. I've gotten to near the end, but there wasn't a percentage on that. Not like Crash 2 was the first one, then Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped was the third one, and that one had a percentage as well.
Right.
So it was very. It made you want to sit there and play and get everything you could.
Yeah. Good choice.
Thanks.
Good choice.
That was my number 5.
Good way to start it off.
Yeah, they were actually pretty heavy hitters, both games.
Yeah. I say we're even right now.
I would say so, too.
Yeah. Well, my number 4, though, is going to put me in the lead.
All right. Well,
it's going to take a dump over your number 5. Literally.
All right. Well, let's hear it.
I don't know where I'll have to go with that.
I don't care what this song is. I just want to be the guy that plays that in the background of this song.
Mega Man 3.
Everybody should know this. I know deaf people who know this.
Yeah, it's the.
Is that wrong to say? Can we say that on the show? Oh,
you can, but we'll see. We'll see how far it goes.
We'll ride that one out.
But Mega Man 3. I mean, it's so hard to pick your favorite from like a Mega Man. When we eventually get around to doing a Mega Man episode,
oh man,
I think that is going to be the hardest, because
I think that's why we've avoided it so long.
Because really, I could easily pick a top 5 for every game. Yeah. I mean, it's not just because there's a lot of music. I mean, there are so many awesome tracks in the Mega Man series.
They did do a really good job.
What is there a particular, like? I think, did I ask you if there's a particular Mega Man game that's your favorite?
Well, 2 is my favorite, and I think Cutsman from the original one is my favorite music.
And it's weird because music-wise, mine's actually Tornado Man from, I think it's Mega Man 9.
Wow.
Which is very strange.
Tornado Man, where they start running out of names and creative names for cool robots.
Wait a minute, you had Airman, and he shot tornadoes out of his chest. What's the difference here?
There is no difference.
But a lot of fun memories of the Mega Man series. Such a brutally hard game.
And and the Mega Man series is actually a great example of, unlike Crash Bandicoot, games that really don't have to change to still be awesome
Right.
every time one comes out.
But when they did change, I mean, when they added in the X series, you know, and the modification and stuff they did
Right.
for like the power ups, brilliant. I mean, the X
Right.
series is fantastic. I never got into the Battle Network, the RPG.
Yeah.
I never got into that, but
It's actually pretty fun.
But I played the first, I think, 6 Mega Mans, and then I played Mega Man X. So the rest of them have eluded me. But although I did play the Mega Man for the Game Boy though, and I still have that.
That's
and
nice.
and I understand that's a rare find.
It is a rare find.
So
As is
take
Mega Man
that,
2.
collectors who don't have it. Face.
That would be me. He's looking directly at me. Yeah, the X series. I'm glad you liked the X series so much because we may or may not be seeing that later on this evening.
Really?
Maybe.
Well, I doubt it
I could
because
be lying.
only cool people pick those tracks, and
All right.
co-host isn't one of them. What a mean
Wow.
guy.
You see, I come over and this
Well,
is
I
what
mean,
happens.
I start my number 4 off with Mega Man 3. It's going to be pretty hard for you to follow that up.
Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to follow it up with this song, but I'm not here to compete with you.
Oh, I thought that was the whole point.
Well,
Feed my ego.
let me get down into my number 1 and then we'll talk. But here's my number 4.
Love it.
For the longest time, Matt, this game was the reason I owned an original PlayStation.
Spyro.
Spyro the Dragon.
Beast.
Let's talk about games where you can get 100%. Good God. Because in every stage, there was these crystals you could pick up of various colors. All of them were worth something different. And there was an exact amount to find on every stage. And, oh, man, hours searching for those.
How many games in the Spyro series were there? There weren't as many as obviously
Before it got
Crash.
insane?
I mean,
There was Spyro the Dragon, then there's 2, which is Ripto's Rage, then there's 3, which is Year of the Dragon, and then there was like Dragon's Tale for the GameCube, and there was like 3 other ones, and then it turned to Skylanders.
oh,
Right, and it became Spyro the Dragon is actually the head honcho there in Skylanders.
nice. I see Spyro's also done by Insomniac Games. They're
Yes.
the same ones that do Ratchet and Clank, right?
Oh, yes, it is.
Ratchet and Clank.
Which did not make my list, surprisingly. It really isn't a hub area for Ratchet
They could
and Clank.
easily do a Ratchet and Clank episode. There's countless options for
I just want to
episodes
say
here.
real quick that I went to the movies today, and one of the trailers was for Ratchet and Clank movie.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Live action?
No, it's animated.
I'm
In-
very
in
excited.
theaters.
How did I not?
Ratchet and Clank?
How did I not hear about this?
Because you didn't go to the movie with me.
My
All
shirt
right,
literally
so-
just snapped in 3 different places.
I saw it. I'm trying not to stare. Trying to be nice about it.
Does it take place? Did it?
I'm not going to tell you anymore. Look up the trailer.
I'm gonna have to look up the trailer.
There you go.
We could talk about that all night.
Absolutely.
I'm very excited.
So Spyro the Dragon. I know a lot of people actually, because of the camera on this, it was kind of fixated that it gave a lot of people headaches and like motion sickness because you couldn't really control
Really?
anything. So if you're like running around in a circle and you didn't stop on a dime, you had to like because you're running, you're a little dragon, and as you're running, the camera would just stay with you and it would just get people nauseous and. Yeah, so one of good friends of mine couldn't even play this game. He's like, yeah, he bought it, and he's like, yeah, this is awesome. Oh, no, it isn't. 5 minutes later, I owned it. So
PS1, baby, top of the line.
PS1. There's a tremendous
trust me.
amount of games.
Oh yeah, PS1.
for the PS1.
Yeah, that's why I skipped N64. Went right to
I don't
PlayStation.
blame you at that point.
Yeah.
If that's your logic behind it, then I don't blame you.
No, well, yeah, there really was no logic.
You had
my
Tekken.
my
and-
brother wanted to play PlayStation and play Tekken. Yeah, that was it. And I was hanging out with him and his friends, so that's the system I went with.
Plus, they have the best and still have the best controller ever made.
I think I agree with that statement.
Excellent.
Know what I also agree with?
What?
My next pick. I really just want to like start walking down the street slowly and snapping my fingers, just like real creepily. Like for some reason, whenever I hear this theme, just like they just have like a little top hat and a monocle. It's like, hey there.
I was gonna say this song sounds kind of sassy.
This is Super Mario Brothers 3, the World 7 theme, which is the pipe maze world, which is an absolute
the worst
nightmare
stage ever created in a video game.
And that's why I had to put it in here.
Ever.
Because the theme's kind of cool. It's repetitive, but it fits the
It was like,
annoying factor of this world.
It was almost like Nintendo was like, we apologize to all those who think the water stages are the worst stages ever. Here's this. And now there's a new hatred.
Yeah.
And it is World 7.
Super Mario Brothers 3 was great, though. I mean, going from, do you think of, in such a short amount of time between 1, 2, and 3, all the advancements and stuff that it made, I thought it's probably it's my second favorite Mario out of the 4 that I've played. It's my second favorite.
Well, we could talk. Wow. Okay. Well, we could talk about Mario 3 all night, and we will continue to discuss it. But I have a serious question for you.
All
right.
I don't do.
I know, but I really want to hear your answer on this.
Okay.
We all know how popular Super Mario Brothers 3 is. It is still probably considered the best Mario ever made.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think it's because of what it is, or because it followed the hatred that people showed for Mario Brothers 2?
I think the only reason this game is popular is because of the wizard.
There you go. Well, dude, that was some serious publicity for this game. I mean, because the wizard came out like 6 months before this game came out, and so they kept if you subscribe to like Nintendo Power, they dropped hints like, "Oh, you got to see this movie for your first sneak peek of Super Mario Brothers 3."
Yeah.
What? I mean, people were flooded. Just, oh, we saw it. Well, we could leave now.
Yeah.
Well, it was only 10 minutes left to the movie, so I guess we'll finish watching it. But
I think all the items and everything that you could really get in Mario, I thought it was a great jump, because you didn't have anything in the second one. I mean, you literally had you had the mushroom to get you big, but then you didn't have anything else. Like, you didn't have any fireballs. You didn't have.
But they traded up for all that stuff by kind of innately giving people their own specialties.
Yeah, but no like attacks. It was all like jumps.
Yeah, we had a POW block.
Oh yeah, you did have that. But I mean,
and you could beat people with a radish.
But
I mean, come on,
that is true. But I mean, going from a game that
it should be called like Mario Brothers 2 Vegan Strike Back. That's what it should be called.
Take this, yes. Yeah, because the final boss literally was spitting vegetables at you through a tuba.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
And then you were forcing vegetables down his throat to kill him.
Yeah.
Vegetables are bad.
And they are.
You hear that, Mom and Dad? Vegetables are bad.
Now, if he was throwing, like, pizza and wings at me, I'd have been like, hey, what are we fighting for? Let's go get a drink and let's talk about, where this friendship is going, okay? But you throw a beat at me, and I swear to God.
I will come over there and shove it down your throat.
But to answer your question, honestly, I think, even though Super Mario Brothers 2 didn't do, like ratings-wise, people didn't really enjoy, I don't really think that had a whole lot to do with it. I thought Super Mario Brothers 3 really did have a lot to offer. And gameplay wise, and especially like secrets wise, the things you could explore and do in that game, I thought everything was just really well done.
I agree.
I love 2. I absolutely love too. Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, I do too. And like R2, not the Super Mario Brothers Lost Levels 2 that I don't think anybody on the planet could beat. But
yeah,
because that's just redonkulous hard.
I hear that's like a punishment to have to play that.
It's like Super Mario Brothers 1, but you start at like level 45, and then you just go.
Wow.
Now they introduce poisonous mushrooms, and they look just like the regular mushrooms.
Why would you do that?
Why? Because people hate us.
That reminds me of 3D World Runner. When you would get the power-ups, and there's the mushroom. Oh, it's poison. I just instantly killed myself. Why would you put that there?
Well, that's wonderful.
You have like a 25% chance to get the poison mushroom, and like you're on your last life in the final world, and you get it. You're just like, that's it. I'm done. I'm never playing this again. Just kidding. Let's start over right now.
So here's another question for you: tail, raccoon tail, or feather?
Feather.
Feather. Why is that?
Yeah. I could fly across the whole board.
You could.
Yeah. And I was really good at it. So that's what I did. I like to just fly over everything. I mean, I like the option. It's like, you go from 2 and 1 where it's like, your majority of the time you're on the ground with the exception of like Peach's float and stuff like that. But to go above the whole board and just like explore that, even though you were technically off screen, but it was just a cool feeling. Like, hey, I'm literally flying. I'm Mario and I'm flying. I thought that was just such a cool feeling.
Well, I really liked that the developers rewarded you for exploring.
Yeah.
And they really kind of encouraged it. There's a ton of secrets.
There's tons of secrets up there
by flying. So
yeah.
So good for them.
I was Mario and I was Superman in one. I mean, that's fantastic.
There you go.
Very
good pick for number 3.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That was very nice.
It means a lot.
So we'll move on to my number 3, and I know you haven't played this game, Matt, but
I got
a lot to talk about.
I enjoy learning, so here we go.
So I tried to avoid this game like the plague. Hello, Disney and a video game with collectibles.
Uh-oh.
This was not good for my pocket. Okay, Disney Infinity.
For hearing the track, I would have thought it was an RPG. Like it sounds like you got a conversation going on in like a Final Fantasy type game.
Nice,
and
right?
That's what it kind of reminded me of.
And now, you haven't played Disney Infinity.
No,
correct?
I have not.
Well, it's funny that you say what you did about it sounds like an RPG because there's a tremendous amount of RPG elements in Disney Infinity. For those who haven't played it, you have a baseboard, and it connects to your system, and you have collectible figurines. It comes with 3 of them. It comes with a Jack Sparrow, comes with Mr. Incredible, and it comes with Sully from Monsters, Inc. And you place them on the board, and you are now that character in the game. And in the game, you can go through pre-made stages that come with this thing that you also put on the board. That's specific for those characters. As well, when I say those characters, I mean those characters and the other characters that can play in their world. Mm-hmm. So, like, they released a Barbossa figure. They released, Mike Wazowski. So he and Sully and Randall can play in the Monsters Inc. section.
No, nice.
And there's collectibles that you can only get if you are those characters. So that was their way of, hey, go out and buy this characters. And here's the real gotcha, okay?
Gotcha.
So we'll take the Incredibles stage. The Incredible stage, they give you Mr. Incredible, okay? Mm-hmm. So you walk around, and there's treasure boxes that can only be opened by Mr. Incredible. There's also a giant hatch. It's huge. Lost. And it can only be opened if it's visited by everybody who's available to go to that section. Okay? So for Monsters, Inc., not a big deal. It's Mike Wazowski, Sully, and Randall. So if you have those 3 figures, you go there with each of them, boom, it opens up. The Incredibles, you needed like 5 or 6 characters to get there. And now you're talking $70 to open up this door, realistically, And, but it was really cool. And, and as you fight things, you level up your character and you get to learn new moves and abilities, very much like an RPG.
Nice.
And then as the game progressed, and you became into, especially like, on the first one and second one, they really kind of fixed things in the second one, but you can build your own stages. And you can put your own characters in it. You can do anything you wanted to.
Right.
And then you can actually publish them online and people can play through them.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's
nice.
pretty
So the only way to get new characters was to actually purchase?
To actually purchase them.
Purchase it.
Yeah.
And how much do they run like per character?
They're like $10, $15 at the
so
most.
It can get pricey. With the amount of characters they have in Disney, it can get rather pricey.
Well, there's only I think there was only 20 or 25 maybe different characters in the first one. And here's the thing too is, so they released in the first one, there's 3 characters for Pirates of the Caribbean, 3 characters for Monsters, Inc., and 5 for Incredibles.
Right.
Outside of that, if they were not prepackaged, like there's a Toy Story one, but it comes with the figures. There's a Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas. Mm-hmm. Now, he doesn't have a stage. The only way you could ever play him is in the toy box.
Right.
So that was it. So, even though I have all the first series, the second series, the 2.0 Infinity, I'm missing all the ones that you could play in the toy box because I really don't play in the toy box.
Right.
So it's okay, I mean, I would get them, and if I got them, they would literally just sit on the shelf, and, okay, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
You know? Now, I don't have the Disney 3.0. The first one was strictly Disney. The second one was Marvel. So it was all your superhero stuff like that, and they added a couple Disney characters like Aladdin and Jasmine, but they didn't have their own stage. They're all toy box. And then the third one installment is all Star Wars related. So it's with
I was just gonna say, when are they doing a Star Wars one?
yeah, it's the Star Wars one. There's only 2 Marvel figures they released with that. It's Ultron and the Hulkbuster armor Iron Man, and then there's like 3 or 4. It's like Mulan, Mickey, Minnie, and somebody else for Disney, and that was it. The rest is all Star Wars.
Oh wow!
There's like 15 to 20 different Star Wars characters, and they actually did a really cool upgrade, which I really don't know how it works yet. So I'm interested. Is the characters themselves, sit on the board. The base board is same as it ever was. Okay. But there's like take Obi-Wan Kenobi. The original ones came out. You put them on there. You play the game. You're Obi-Wan.
Right.
But they released special edition ones that cost the same that have light up effects.
Ooh.
So when you put them on and you play as him, the lightsaber on the figure lights up.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, that's a cool little. And they didn't charge anything extra for it. So I'm like, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
But
is there one that's like ultra rare to get, or are they all pretty? You can get them pretty easily.
There were some ones that are harder to get than others. I wouldn't say ultra rare.
Right.
Like for the second or the first one, Syndrome and Randall were extremely hard to get. My wife had to actually buy them for me on eBay, and it wasn't cheap to get them. But that was the only way to get them. And the second one, the Hulk, is actually the rare one to get.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so because at first you can only get them as a pre-order, and then they finally released them out to the public, but in limited quantities. And then the third one, Boba Fett, is the hard one to get, and he came with a special edition day one release of Disney Infinity 3.0. So if you didn't get that, you can't get. You still to this day cannot buy him separately yet.
Interesting.
So
interesting.
He's the rare one to get. Actually, I want to take that back. The rarest 2.0 figure is Black Costume Spidey, and the only way to get him was there was a special bundle that came like if you didn't own the game, you could buy it.
Right.
But that was the only way to get it. They never sold it by itself, and I've actually looked it up on eBay, and it's starting at like $100.
Wow.
For just that figure. It's cheaper to go and find it and buy the game again than it is to just buy that one single figure. So
that's nuts.
There you go. Disney Infinity in a nutshell.
Dang. You know your stuff on Disney Infinity.
I didn't. I tried to stay away from it on purpose. But yeah, it got to. We have our friend Brandon. Who really got into like the amiibos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that are into Skylanders, and it's one of those things. It's all the same thing, realistically.
Just different
but it's like,
worlds.
Which one are you gonna collect? Because that's you're gonna start paying out money once you start. So
yeah. Well,
so
good
there
job.
you go.
Well, if anybody has any questions,
now that I'm out of breath, I need some water here.
You can go ahead and send an email to Steve. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer anything about Disney Infinity.
Absolutely.
Or not.
No, absolutely.
He might just be like, I just answered everything. Figure it up on your own.
I'm pretty much just played it for you. What else do you want?
You're young and you have the internet. Use Google.
It's really good. It's really good.
Nice. Well, good job.
Thank you.
It's time for my number 2.
I'm excited to not have to talk for a minute.
That's good.
All right, here we go.
My favorite thing about this track is its depth, how complicated it is.
I was just going to say, damn it, Matt, I didn't want to talk for a little bit, and you chose Ducktales. Oh, my God.
Yeah, this is Ducktales. This is the select screen, the hub, as we will say for it. This game is there's only so much you can say about a game like this because there's only like
repeatedly.
There's 5 words that would like describe this game, and it's all awesome.
I'm counting fingers here.
I just
it's
said
Ducktales, a woohoo.
There
you go.
I see that. I thought you were singing the Tailspin song for a sec, but you were singing Ducktales.
No, Ducktales. Ducktales.
So, what was your favorite area in DuckTales? Did you have a favorite world? Transylvania. Mine was the moon.
A lot of people's is the moon. I was always a darker character. Like in my video games, I've always I was always drawn to Castlevania. I was always drawn to like the haunting, scary type game. So Transylvania just instantly drew. Yes, I must play this.
Yeah, I mean the thing that I've always been a huge fan of space and stuff like that. So and just to the music, the moon theme has been redone countless times. I'd say it's definitely the most popular track in the original DuckTales. And once I found the glitch to where you could skip the entire upper section of the moon and beat the stage in like 30 seconds, it's fantastic.
But why would you want to skip Gizmo Duck?
Because I mean, it's just if I can beat something quickly, I'm going to do it. You have to understand, when I'm playing this game as a kid and I have like 40, 50 people wanting to be me watching me and I'm showing off all my skills, it's like, look at this kid. Wow. He's on top of his game. You know, then I turn around and there's nobody there except like my like cutouts of all like my wrestling heroes, but they're all cheering
Even
me
the
on.
dog left.
Yeah. I had a cutout of John Cena before he was in the WWE.
The fish moved out.
I was so sad.
Why is the fish on the floor?
But I never played the second one. I never played the second DuckTales. I hear it wasn't as good, and it's much harder to find. A much larger game, the second DuckTales. There was only 5 in the original, right? There was Himalayas, the moon, Amazon, Transylvania, and...
Okay, you said, hold on. Amazon, Himalayas, Transylvania, the moon,
the mine
shaft.
The mines. Yeah. So, and then the second one, there was like, I think like 12 or...
Yeah,
there was a lot in the second one.
I'm going to disagree with you on something you just said.
Good.
Just a little bit. I don't think that the first one is better than the second one. I think they're just as good. The problem is not a lot of people played the second one because it was so hard to find.
Interesting.
I mean, and having played them both, I actually own them both, and I actually own 2 also for the Game Boy, which is extremely hard to find. But I actually enjoyed. They actually add a couple new mechanics to Scrooge's play control. Like you can, before you remember how you can only like pogo, like golf swing things around. Now you can like grab onto things with your.
That's right. I remember
reading
that.
And you can pull things across, and it opens up different things. It was
nice,
different, but it was still very much the same as DuckTales. It didn't take anything away, and it didn't change it drastically to be like, wow, it's not like Castlevania 2.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of a change.
Right.
Yeah, I really enjoyed DuckTales too.
Nice.
But yeah, DuckTales is the one that's. You can find DuckTales anywhere. You can pretty much go to any place and trip over DuckTales. I mean, they made so many of them.
Yeah.
But you know, it's still one of the best NES games Capcom made.
You're right though. I bet you if you're like, hey, did you know there was a sequel to DuckTales? But I would say probably a good bunch of people would be like, I had no idea. Our chief audio engineer is agreeing with us that he hasn't heard of it as well. So I'm sure there's plenty of them out there, but I never played it. I want to play it. I have it on my emulator. I should play it. So
it's very good. It's just the same things. You're kind of looking for different treasures.
Backlog, man. Backlog. Man.
I
can't add anything.
Who are you preaching to? I hope you're saying that for
anything else to this. There's new games coming out. There's games I want to go back to, and I just time.
I hope you're saying that for the sake of our listeners, because, man, who are you preaching to? Backlog. Man, goodness.
I thought you were completely caught up on every game 100%, Steve. That's what I heard.
I try.
Yes. Well, DuckTales. That was my number 2.
Play with your kid. Is he on fire? No? Then leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Close the door. Where's the wife?
What are you doing?
I'm going to be in so much trouble.
Yep. Well, that's right. That's all right.
I've enjoyed it while it's lasted.
All right. Well, you know what, Matt? You had a really good pick with your Mario 3 to be put a Mario game on the list. I'm going to put a Mario game on the list right now.
Drop it on me.
It's nappy time.
Yeah, really. I'm ready to close my eyes. What do we got here?
This is the hub area for Mario Galaxy. It's actually called Rosetta's.
No, observatory.
Yeah, the observatory.
Comet Observatory or something.
Comet Observatory. I couldn't read my own handwriting. How bad is that?
Good job.
It put me to sleep. I was like, man, this is an app. I can't even open my eyes.
I've never played Mario Galaxy. I've never played a Mario game past Super Mario World. So you're going to have to drop some knowledge on me again. Once Mario turned in that 3D, I just said, nope, not doing it. Keep them side-scroller or you can keep your game. And they just said they pretty much threw me out of their store. Said they didn't want my business.
Yeah.
So that's where it ends. Of course.
So when Mario 64 came out, I was at Babbage's.
Nice.
There's a name drop for you.
That's
okay. And I was like pushing kids out of the way to see Mario 64. Some of them fell and bled, but that wasn't my problem.
Out of my way,
so yeah, there was games involved. So
I did the same thing when Just Dance first came out.
Just Dance. Man, I was that kid at the mall. Yeah!
That's right.
So
I got moves.
This you visit different planets that serve as different worlds. Funny, but and some of them were easy and basic, and then they got harder and harder, and use stars to open up different levels. And this game was actually really, really good. You really should take a look at it.
But isn't there like super 3D, like over that? Like you got to constantly change the camera angles. You're going upside down and doing all kinds of stuff.
What it is as you control Mario. Like say he's running at the screen. He's running at the screen, but he's not actually he's running, but he's not getting closer. The planet underneath him is spinning underneath him. So as you're rolling, think of it as like running on a log. So as you're spinning that log, you're getting places, and the planet moves kind of with you. And you go through pipes, and that might bring you down to the other side of the planet. And there's things you have to do. When you succeed in all those things, you go on to the next planet.
I have a feeling I'd get really, really confused with this game.
It actually isn't. It pretty much holds your hand, just like the new Super Mario Brothers for the Wii kind of holds your hand, even though there's like different places.
Right.
It's very linear that way. But yeah, I thought this game was actually fantastic. Now, I haven't played the sequel to it, but this game I have played.
This was for the Wii?
This is for the Wii.
Wii. The original Wii.
Wii! Yeah.
Did Luigi make an appearance in this game? Was there a two-player or anything crazy?
No. I don't believe so.
Goodness. Was Daisy in it?
No.
Goodness.
Rosetta was in it.
All right.
She's also in Smash Brothers.
She's the one that holds the star,
The star,
right?
yep.
Where's
Beats
that?
people with a star.
Nice.
I think that's instant win.
Yes. Just like my favorite character in Chrono Cross. Yes.
The frog?
No, the fairy girl who had the star as like her big weapon.
Oh, yeah, she sucks. Anyway, so
no.
Luca all the way, baby.
Luca.
She was the technology chick.
Yeah, that was from Trigger though.
What were you talking about?
Chrono Cross.
Well, same difference. Anyway, so
yes.
Actually,
Stumbled Steve.
Luca actually does appear in that though. You can't play as her or anything else, but you can go talk to her, and she is technically in that game. So I am still right. Anyway, so we'll go on to your number one.
Yes.
It's a horrible day or night for a curse.
You can't mess with this game. Castlevania 2. This is the day theme, which you hear when you're in the town buying supplies and talking to people. And that was one of the great things I loved about this game. That a lot of NES games, I shouldn't say a lot of NES games, but some NES games did from the original moving to the second one added more of an RPG-ish element to it, whereas Castlevania 2 is not just your linear game going through. This game, you had to go to towns, you had to level up, you had to get the hearts to give more life and become more powerful, and you could buy additional weapons, and you had to talk to people to figure out where to go. I mean, and I love that. It wasn't too crazy, but it added just enough to where, like, for example, when you had to go to you could see the area below you, and you had to kneel there for like a couple seconds to like
with the white orb.
Yeah, to drop down. It's just like that. That is, it's awesome that they added all these little additional features. I know some people did not like it, and they just like Zelda 2. They prefer the other style of gameplay, but you can't deny that this soundtrack alone for this game is absolutely unbelievable. And Bloody Tears is another one of the I would say one of the most remixed songs that I've heard.
Vampire Killer.
Yep.
This soundtrack for this game, actually, this track is one of my all-time favorite tracks in a video game of all time.
Nice.
I love the music for this game, and I love this game.
Yeah.
This game is actually voted probably one of the hardest games on the NES because it is so difficult to figure out what the hell you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because there was no internet, and the clues were like fragmented English at best. And they're like, go kneel. What am I supposed to do? Go kneel at like the third spot. From what?
Yeah, from where? This is a big world.
I mean, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
And then you're in the mansions, and to get the pieces of Dracula to be able to bring them back.
Assemble them back.
And then they had like the invisible floors that like they looked like they were things there, and you walk over and you fall through, and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So you actually that was really the only purpose of holy water when you picked it up, was that you can throw it to see if there's really an actual floor there in front of you. And then if not, jump across, and it was, I love that game.
Yeah.
It brings a tear to my eye.
I really want to play through it again. And it was cool because it's just like, all right, you're playing as the same character, but like what's going on? It's like, okay, Dracula's been scattered, but he's not like gone. So what do we have to do? You reassemble him, beat him again, and you had to. So it's just it didn't feel like out of play. It wasn't like, okay, I'm fighting like the same thing over again. But it was awesome. It was like, I'm not going to the same castle to fight the same exact guy. Like, no, I'm literally rebuilding this guy, traveling this whole area, exploring more of like the lore of the town and the area that he resides in. So it was cool to get an outside feeling as opposed to that confinement of the castle in the first game.
The Castlevania.
Yeah.
Right. Well, here's the thing too. And going back to what you're saying about how games moved to sequels, and when they did, it kind of gave them an RPG element. I think it was to extend the life of the game. When you had an opportunity to level up a character, it's not, boom, you got to the end, you're done. It was, I want to level up this character. I want to get him powerful and see what I can do with him. But it was also like an opportunity for the developers to give depth to the worlds that these characters live in. You look at Zelda 2. We'll go, okay, I know, another podcast that goes back to Zelda 2. But in The Legend of Zelda, you're in Hyrule, and you felt like it wasn't a complete world. It was like a section. And then when you went to Zelda 2, love it or hate it, you had towns. So you knew, like, you saw how big this place really was. So you had towns, and you had different labyrinths all over the place. You could sail across an ocean, and there's an island out there, and there was the rest of your quest. Same here. So sure, you do go to Castlevania in the end of Castlevania 2, but it's a shell of what it was. There's literally like 3 staircases, and the rest of the game is just the world of Transylvania. And so you're like, wow, there's towns, there's other mansions, there's all this stuff is going on. So now when they made the next one, they're like, let's build on one of these things. And so like when you play these other games like, Lords of Shadow and stuff like that,
which
you're like, oh, that was
before.
cool because that was in name that game here, kind of thing. You're like, that's a cool little homage to that game. So I think it's a wonderful thing.
And I know we've said it a million times, but the ending to Lords of Shadow
is the best
video
game ending of all time.
I think it could be. It was just
amazing.
It was beautifully done.
It is mind-blowingly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great
wow.
Stuff. It makes me want to replay it like immediately.
It makes me want to YouTube the epilogue.
Yeah, that's true. We could just do that. Thank you, YouTube, and thank you everyone who does Let's Plays. We love you. So that was my number one. What'd you think?
I know my number one's gonna hit you pretty good, but man, that's gonna be tough to beat.
Brushes off
because
shoulders.
that's actually, like I said, my favorite track of all the Castlevania series, and Castlevania is one of my all-time favorite series. So,
well, let's see what you have to offer here for your
all
number one.
Crossing fingers. Oh, I think we can leave this one playing at full volume the rest of the night. Tell me, Matt, if you went to a 311 concert and they started playing this song on stage, you wouldn't have a joygasm right there.
There wouldn't be. It would. I would probably end up with the amount of sweat that would shoot out of me in all directions. It would. Majority of people would be injured in that crowd.
So disgusting.
I mean, just the fact that you
the
said
visual that happened.
311 covering a Mega Man X, like it's just like it was so random right there that I had to go for the most insane thing possible, and it was sweat bullets.
And here's Mega Man X, and somebody streaking across the stage.
Yes,
who is this?
Peanut, I love you.
Woo! Yes, so
Thank
this
you
is
for
the this is the Mega Man X stage select screen. I told you to hang in there for the Mega Man X, did I not?
Beautiful game. Beautiful game.
Amazing soundtrack.
Yes.
For I mean, it took the 8-bit sound of the Mega Man 1 through 6 series, bumped them up way high for the Super NES, and just took it as high as that Super NES could actually go.
Right.
It's every single one of them is like amazing.
No, it really is. It really is.
Every single one.
I love me some Chili Penguin or some Flame Mammoth.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, all of those tracks.
I own this soundtrack, and it's wonderful. Right? I'm very happy that you picked it as a number one.
Thank you. And it was actually hard to pick a number one because, again, trying to stay within the theme. And it's like, man, what's Matt really gonna dig that's hasn't been said, and it's gonna be something that he's gonna know and still stay within the theme of the show. Mega Man X. Can't go wrong with Mega Man.
You can't go wrong with Mega Man. And this game being up there is one of my favorite Mega Mans in the series. Like, I'm a huge fan of the X series. And, they added that little, we talked about on another podcast, the incorporation of the Hadouken and stuff into it. And it's just
the Dr. Light capsules.
Just all the exploration. I mean, because, in Mega Man, you're trying to get through the stage without dying. Let alone, I'm not trying to go to extra areas to find other stuff. Like,
right.
I don't want to do that. But in this game, you're just like, you are heavily rewarded for exploring and doing certain things, all the power-ups and all the things you can do, and it makes you a wrecking ball. Man.
And it's not necessarily the first go either. Like, you might finish a stage, and the extras on it can't be reached until you come back with your X person's weapon or some other modification, and then go back to that stage, and now you can go get it. It's absolutely
brilliant. It's brilliant.
And try to find them all, man. It's like you watch some of these YouTube people play these runs, you're like, how the hell would you have found that? Like, unless you went to die and you're like, oh, I didn't die. This is cool. What's going on
the Hadouken. I mean, you have to. Yeah. I forget what stage it was, but you're in
Armadillo stage.
You're on the mine cart. When you hit the end, you have to literally leap out and then grab hold of the wall and get up to the game. I mean, how would you know that? I mean, it's just the exploration and the expectations they had of their players to find these things. It was awesome.
And then
awesome
it was like the Hadouken, like one hit. Anything.
Yeah, one hit kill. As long as you're at full health, it's a one hit kill on bosses.
Insane.
Everything.
Insane. Like go to Sigma.
Yeah, Sigma's dog, kill Sigma, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Pop an energy tank. Now I'm full health.
But it's just like you input it wrong and you get here. It's like, oh no! So like you want to stock up on energy tanks because like I'm not killing this guy any other way. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. I will say though that the Mega Man X game series were much cleaner. Much more well animated. I mean, and that's because of what
the less lag.
Yeah, well, that's thanks to what the Super NES could do as opposed to NES. But I do think that those games were much harder than the original Mega Man games. Now, granted, yeah, sure, Mega Man was harder. It was hard to consider to some people because it was new at the time. It was kind of a different flavor. But then once you kind of got the hang of how things are done. It was, everything kind of fell into place.
Right.
With the Mega Man X series, it was just, man, I'm sorry, I don't care who you are, but Sigma was absolutely brutal.
Right.
In all of those games.
No, he was.
Absolutely brutal.
The first time I played Mega Man
Give me Dr.
X,
Wily.
The first time I went through it, I didn't do the 100%, so I was trying to go through it normally, and man, it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare trying to go through Sigma and the final stages But it's such a nice reward. You know what? For completing all the stages, getting all the items, we're not just going to hand you like an extra E-tank or anything like that. No, we're going to give you something that one hit kills everything.
Right.
This is for
You've earned it.
For trudging through this and accomplishing everything. You are getting a badass item, and it was so much fun. It made you just want to do, and it's cool because it really made you play carefully, because you really wanted to play on the defensive to keep your health at full. So it offered a different style of gameplay once you acquired everything, which I thought was fantastic.
Well, that, and then you never really kind of knew if you acquired everything. You're like, oh man, did I go back to that one stage and did I find everything you could possibly do?
Right.
And then once you kind of made a mental note of where everything was, then you start getting faster at it, and that is where speed runs come from.
Yes.
So,
yes. So watching a speed run of that game is absolutely beautiful.
Epic.
Yes. Caleb Hart, look him up on Twitch. He's the man.
Wow. All right. Name drop.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's going to about do it for
I want to drop one thing real quick.
Oh, I'm going to hand the mic over to you, Matt.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to say this is going to do it for our Town Hub theme.
Oh, yes.
But, Matt, if you would like to go ahead and play us out here.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that earlier this week I was on a podcast for Geek's Sake.
It's true, I heard it.
Yeah, and so I want you guys to check them out. They're a geek podcast that covers, everything: technology, comic books, movies, games, you name it. So absolutely check them out. Give them a like, give them a subscribe, give them a comment. It's an unbelievable, believable group of people, and it was a great honor to be able to work with them.
I'm still so sad. Well, I missed it.
Don't worry. Hopefully, we'll be able to do another one together in the future. So, but check them out. They're on Facebook. They're on iTunes. They're on Shout Engine. So go ahead, give them all your love. We give them definitely 4 and now 6 thumbs up.
6 thumbs up.
That's right. That's
all right.
So so look us up on Facebook. We're also on the social media interwebs as well. We're on Twitter, castrevive@gmail.com, and send us your comments on iTunes and rate us so we can rise higher in the ranks and take over the iTunes directory and become the number one VGM podcast for your ears. So thank you again for listening this week. And we got a little Animal Crossing outro for you because the whole game takes place in a town.
Yeah, that's true. And it's not an RPG.
That's right. So you thought Steve's track put you to sleep earlier. This one definitely will. So thank you all very much for listening. And we'll see you next week.
Good night, everyone.